Welcome back everybody. So this is the tutorial number 2 for our AutoCAD Plan 3D 2016. So in this video we're going to make a grid, a simple grid, so we can add some structural material and some equipment and go from there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to point out that make sure you're on the 3D piping environment. So as I've shown on the last video, right over here where my mouse pointer is, you can click on that little down arrow thing and choose the environment that you like. 3D piping is the right environment, and most of our structural thing we're going to and the equipments too, we're gonna add it through the structure palette here. If you click on the structure, and you'd see these are pretty much the options we're gonna use. Okay, so actually before we do that, we should also create bunch layers, because in AutoCAD you put each of the objects of similar types into their own layer, which makes selection and viewing a lot easier than putting them all into one structure. And anything you draw on the zero layer is not going to be visible if you print. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, under structure, click on layer properties, which should pop up this, well, not a little window, but a window nonetheless. Okay, no need to you can also snap it onto a corner, but no need to do that. We're just going to be using it on and off. On this window, right here, this button would create a new layer. Go ahead and click on that. The first one we're going to name grid, and right over here you can choose a color. For this, let's choose 250 and click OK. Not a true valid color. Okay, let's choose it from here. We're gonna choose 255. Why not? Okay, press OK, and that's set for our grid layer. We're gonna create another layer. We're gonna call it, let's per se, footings, and we're gonna set the color to, go ahead and index color. We're gonna choose, let's choose some sort of a yellow. Let's choose yellow. Actually, probably yellow is not the best. Let's choose one of these grays, 253. Press OK, and perfect, it's done. And then we're going to create another layer. Let's call this one equipment, and let's set the color to some sort of orange, maybe a little darker orange, or maybe lighter orange. Okay, let's create that color 41. Press OK. Gonna create another layer. We're going to call this structure, S-T-R-U-C-T-U-R-E, structure, and let's color this let's color this blue. Okay, and then we're going to press OK, and then we should create another layer here. Let's call that one, we got grid, footing, equipment, structure. I think that's all we need right now. So I'm just going to delete this one. So by right clicking it and delete layer. And now once you've selected these layers, all you have to do is double click on one of them to make them permanent. So we're gonna double click on grid. So everything we draw from now on is gonna be drawn onto the grid layer. You can also change that by going back to the structure palette, and under the layers section you can just choose which one of these layers do you want to be. I can choose footing. We'll go to footing and choose grid. We'll be in grid. Okay, so make sure your view is SW isometric, and now we're going to press the grid button under the parts section of structure palette. Okay, so grid. As you can see, this little pop-up menu thing shows up. So what we're going to do here, we're going to see on the axis value. So on the local x-axis, you can see local x-axis, we're going to have a grid line at 0, at 4,000, so for 4 meter, 8,000 and 12,000 meters. So we're gonna have three little sections there. So on the Y, local Y, this direction, we're going to have a grid line at 0. We're going to have it at 4,000 and 8,000. So there will be two sections there. And on our Z direction, we're gonna have one at 0 and one at 500 and one at 8,500. So 500 is just for like, you know, off the ground, and then 8 meter is gonna be the height of our platform. And once you have put those values in, if you press this button, it would populate this A, B, C, D, or rows 1, 2, 3 here. Sometimes the writings are too big, so in that case maybe oh look, it changed. So let's just keep it as is, and you can also choose the font size of the grid notification. It's not going to print or anything, it's just going to show up like so. Okay, let's go ahead and click create, and we can see we're very much zoomed in. Now we have our nice little grid going on. So if you were to choose the orbit function, as you can see, now we can orbit around our grid. So for working, usually if you're in, oh, let's press escape to get out of there. If you're in SW isometric view, as you can see, sometimes it's hard to select this line or snap onto this point because it coincides with a bunch of other points. So what I always do is select my orbit option and kind of set it up just a little bit so all those points and intersections can be selected now, which is a godsend really. Okay, so let's press escape to get out of there, and today I'm just going to stop there, and so see you guys on the next video.